Hey everybody there in YouTube land, I'm John and I'm back with another video of Musings of a Marine, my YouTube channel here. And boy, do I have a lot to talk about today and some stories to tell you. Obviously, my wife Diana and I, for those of you who watched the video, and a whole lot of you did, about our condo in Mega World over there in Iloilo City. Thank you for all the views, well over 500, and added 9 new subscribers because of that video alone. So I do appreciate that. And I'll tell you what, this was our 6th trip over there, so I'm going to call this Iloilo trip part 6. And I'll tell you, out of all the trips over there, I would rate this as my second favorite trip over there. And it wasn't the funnest, but it was close, and we accomplished more stuff that we set out to do and had more interesting things that we saw than any other trip. And, of course, mainly because we went to the island of Bohol and Panglao and Balikasig and all of those things. Those places, they were truly amazing. And didn't even know Balikasig existed. So that was pretty neat. So anyways, I want to kind of set the tone for why this trip happened. Last year, I was really wanting to get back to Iloilo. And so much so that I was really bugging Diana about it. But of course, because of COVID, and the Philippines being a little bit backwards about, how they wanted to handle it and not in any hurry to get back to normal, it seemed, it wasn't feasible. I had thought about going over there last year and had no idea about the e-travel app that you needed to do with the barcode and all of that stuff. So it's a good thing that it didn't happen. And we knew that my brother-in-law Ali and his family were going to go over in July of this year. So we thought, you know what, we'll do that then. My nephew Pito and his wife did get married in May, and I would have liked to have gone over for that. But it is so hot in the Philippines. I don't have to tell any Filipinos watching this that May is such a hot time of year, and it really was. My brother-in-law, Romeo, from Windsor, Canada, went over there then. I took him and his family to the airport, picked him back up. It was brutal. So when we got there in July, it was better. There was a typhoon that was coming through and in the northern part of the country, and actually the weather was quite cool. The first couple of days we were there, we didn't even have to run the air conditioner in our bedroom at night. So it kind of cooled things off, and that's how it got started. But here we are building up to the trip. My wife and I decide we're going to go in July. We buy the tickets, but there's a couple of things we got to deal with. First and foremost, my father, who is pushing 94 at the time, and we really didn't know how much longer he was going to live. He was in stage 5 kidney failure, and I don't know what exactly happened, but we put him into a nursing home near the end of March, and by April 2nd, he passed away. He hated being in the nursing home, and I don't know if that was part of it where he just let himself go, but he was on his way out, sadly, anyways. But then the only good thing I could say about all of that was that now Diana and I didn't have to worry about, going over there and him passing away while we were there. That was a fear that we had. So anyways, so my dad passes away, but there is one other issue now. Now we have tickets to go to Iloilo, but I only get 3 weeks vacation a year, and we plan on being over there for 3.5 weeks. Plus, when you add in travel time, I was going to be gone 27 days. And I honestly didn't know whether or not I was even going to be allowed to take this trip through my work. But I did know one thing. it was a trip that really, really was necessary. Because you see, Diana and I hadn't been there since November of 2018. We were going on 5 years. And of course, COVID messed all that up. Otherwise, we'd have probably gone over there sooner. But that was the thing too. And I got to the point where I don't care if they fire me or not, or they transfer me. We're going on the trip. It's something we had to do. We had our condo sitting over there. It had been built and ready to go for some time now, and we weren't renting it. It was just sitting there. It needed some final furnishing done. And these were things that we needed to get done. And, you know, I don't know about Diane. I can't speak for her. She doesn't, show her emotions like I do, but I couldn't wait to get back there. There was just some things that, we needed closure on over there too, which I won't get into, but we had to get over there and get some stuff done, and the condo was part of it. But we wanted to have some fun too, hence the trip to Bohol and Panglao Island. So I have to wait until I get my vacation pay to make sure they're not going to withhold that from me. So the day my vacation pay showed up on my paycheck, I go into my manager's office and I tell him what I have to do. And I tell him, hey, you want to transfer me? You want to fire me? I don't care. Anybody sells a car while I'm gone to one of my customers, they can have the commission. I don't care. It could be their customer now. This is a trip that just has to be made. And so he was okay with it. My general manager wasn't there, though. I had to clear it with him, too. So over the weekend, I'm thinking of what I'm going to say to him, and I go in there that Monday morning, 2 days before we were leaving, and I hit him with it. And he says, well, I'd prefer you were only gone for 3 weeks, but, he understood. He knows how much I love going over to the Philippines, and they let me do it. And I didn't have any issues with that. I told the coworkers of mine that they needed to be told. Some of them knew for a couple of months already that I was going to do it. And anyways, I made the trip, Diana and I. And what made it kind of neat on the way there was our niece Jessica in Scarborough, Ontario, joined us on the flight over there to Iloilo, because she just graduated from Toronto University, and she wanted to take a little vacation before she had to face the real world. And so that was kind of nice. Diana and I will probably never fly out of Toronto again because of the hassle of driving that far here from Detroit. But it was just a situation where I felt, you know what? Jessica's never traveled by herself before. Kind of be nice if, we were there with her. So that's how I felt. So sure enough, on Wednesday, July 19th, the day after my 60th birthday, we fly out. Actually, we thought we were flying out late that night, but we drive to Scarborough and we meet up with Di's cousins, and we go out to dinner, and then they take us to the airport and we say our goodbyes. And Philippine Airlines, which really dropped the ball on this trip, I'll tell you. They really needed to get it together. Our flight was supposed to leave at 11:30, and it got delayed to, I believe, 2:30 in the morning on the 20th. Now we're like, well, okay, that's fine. And they did give us some tickets for some free food in the airport terminal while we waited. It's like, no big deal. We've got a layover in Manila, so it's not going to matter. That just shortened our layover in Manila is what it did. And so sure enough, we make it to Manila. The seating arrangements stunk because Jessica's ticket was not next to where we were sitting. But I was so tired that it didn't matter. So what I did was I had Jessica take my seat so she could sit with Di and not by herself, because otherwise she would have been 5 rows up and on the other side of the plane. So I took the aisle seat by myself. It's a good thing I needed the aisle seat because, I have to drink a lot of fluids now and had to get up and use the bathroom a lot. So I took the aisle seat. We made it there, but I slept more on that flight to the Philippines than any other flight I've ever taken. And the reason was leading up to that flight and our trip, I was so worried about what was going to happen when I told management about what I was doing, about possibly losing my job. And I had a lot of insomnia for the 2 weeks leading up to the trip. And then, of course, the night before we drove to Toronto, I didn't sleep that well either because I was so excited to go. So there you go. I'm definitely exhausted. Thankfully, we made the trip to Scarborough when I had only about 5 hours sleep. But once we settled in on the plane, I was wiped out. I couldn't stay awake to watch any movies on the flight. So even though we, were in the air over 16 hours from, Toronto to Manila, I probably slept 5 or more hours of that trip. And I've never done that before because I've been so excited to get over there. So that's what happened. We make it to Manila, and our flight from Manila to Iloilo does leave on time. So that was nice. It's the only flight we had that left on time on this trip. And we get to Iloilo, and my nephew Baba is there, and my brother-in-law, Nonoy, Pedro, and I believe my great-nephew Miggs was there too. And Miggs and I are kind of a story now ourselves, and he's old enough, speaks good enough English, and him and I got a little bit closer. He's a good kid, and I really love him. So that was nice. They met us. Jessica's Uncle Patrick met her at Iloilo Airport, and then she was staying with him primarily. So we said our goodbyes, and off we went. And so we get to our house, and we kind of stayed there for the first day or so. We didn't go see our condo right away. And mind you, we had not seen our condo in a complete state yet. It was not done when we were there in 2018. So as excited as I was to see it, well, we had to get situated in the house, assess the situation there. Our TV in the living room didn't work anymore, and Baba and my sister-in-law Hilda that live in the house, they didn't care. They didn't watch it anyway. The shower was lacking water pressure, so I had to have Baba work on that. We did have a TV now in our bedroom, though, so that was kind of nice. We could watch TV in the air condition if it got really hot. So those were the changes that happened, but also our yard looked so much nicer, and I did do a video of that, how they cemented a lot of the dirt area of the backyard. Of course, over the last 5 years, Baba had a water collection tower put in, so that would save us on electricity and getting the water to come in through the shower. And our water heater element on the shower didn't work very well. It was kind of too hot, but never used it anyways. It didn't even matter. It was hot enough over there anyhow and humid enough to where I didn't take a warm shower at all. The water coming out of the pipes wasn't even cold. It was lukewarm anyway, so that was not a problem. We did replace a cabinet in the bathroom, though, because the old one was looking kind of rough, and you couldn't even put the toilet seat up all the way. So we took that out of there, bought another cabinet that Baba and I built and eventually installed. So those were things that needed to be done in the house, and over the course of time got done. And it wasn't until at some point the next day that we actually went to see our condo, and how nice that was, checking out the area. But there was one other thing that was going on, a couple other things that I want to talk about, and then we'll end this segment of the video. Heck, we might even have to do 3 parts in this one. But the week started off as Bob and I running around trying to get things we needed to fully furnish the condo. And also, we were looking for a venue for a birthday party because 5 of us in the family had a birthday in July. So we did find a venue finally for that. And I thought, well, why don't we just have the birthday party at the house? You know, everybody that was coming could have just as easily came to our house. And we didn't have a good turnout anyways. Great food that was catered there. And 2 nice birthday cakes that Baba's friend Mike, his wife, made him. So that was a nice deal. So we ate good, and it was good to see some people there. And of course, there was a saga of me not being able to find a back brush to wash my back that first week we were there. And I mean, Bob and I looked at all kinds of stores, couldn't find anything but a loofah brush that I didn't really want to use. And then it was finally in the Mega World Festive Walk Mall that in this Japanese store that I found this wasn't really a brush, but something you could lather up and use it as a back brush. And then lo and behold, at the birthday party, Jessica brings me this bag and says, Uncle John, I have a gift for you. Make sure you open it up before we leave. So I did. And lo and behold, it was the same back cleaner that I had bought at the Japanese store in right by the movie theater there in the Festive Walk Mall. And that's where Jessica found the one that she got me. So that was my birthday present, and it was nice because we needed one in the condo too, and we did bring it home with us. But anyways, that was kind of funny that she had seen me post on Facebook that I couldn't find any kind of brush to clean my back with, so she got one for me. And it was kind of cool that we were actually at Festive Walk Mall at the same time, went to the movie theater around the same time. Jessica and her Tita Leah went and saw the Barbie movie, and Bob and I went and seen Oppenheimer movie. We were there around the same time, and we didn't even see each other. How weird is that, right? The last thing I want to touch on is the next day after our birthday party, we went to a really nice party this time. And first, there was a mass at the Harrow Cathedral. My sister-in-law, Vel's parents, Pacifico and Estela Fuentes, were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. And so they had the mass first. And unfortunately, there was construction outside, so it was hard to hear the priest. But a lot of people were dressed in gold, and it was a nice turnout. And then there was a party to happen afterwards. And so I'm saying hi to a lot of people I hadn't seen in a while there. And as usual, Valerie's sister, Bambi, kind of ignores me and would barely even give me a glance and didn't say anything to me. And I'm thinking, what is her deal? I don't get this. She's so friendly and outgoing of a person, and yet she never says anything to me. It's like she doesn't even want to look at me. So anyways, the mass ends. We hang out in the plaza for a little while. And then eventually we work our way over to the party, which was outside in a tent with fans to keep us cool and catered food, and it was delicious. And of course, the 2 guests of honor were serenaded by other people singing karaoke, and they had a niece and a nephew who were great singers, so it was entertaining to watch them, and we had good conversation there. And during the party, a misunderstanding was finally cleared up. Now, I had met Bambi back in 2006 when Ali and Val got married, and we never really had any discussion. And I saw her in 2014 at my nephew Kenji's birthday party, and again, just a passing glance, maybe a slight smile, and she wouldn't say anything to me. So I said at this party to Diana, I said, I don't think Bambi likes me. She never talks to me. She doesn't even want to look at me. I don't get it. So Diana tells Ali, what I said. And later in the party, as it's winding down, here comes my nephew Kenji with Bambi over to me, and we say hi to one another and have a nice conversation. And it was all just a big misunderstanding. Bambi was afraid that she wouldn't speak good enough English and a little self-conscious about it. And that was the reason that she didn't want to talk to me. As nice and friendly and outgoing of a person as she is, that was the reason she wouldn't talk to me. And, what a shame in a way, but thank God we got that cleared up, because you know what? The Fuentes family they're just good people. And I got to know Darwin, the son of Estella and Pacifico, over the years, and now I finally got to chat with his wife a little bit. She was always shy around me too. And I just noticed that in Iloilo in general, that people warmed up to me more than in previous trips. Maybe they were more used to seeing Americans, and the Fuentes family, more and more members were accustomed to seeing me. And, it's like I told Bambi, I don't bite. I'm really a nice guy. And we cleared that up. And that might have been the best part of the party, at least for me personally, because I don't want to be on bad terms with anybody, and especially in a family that I care about. And because Val married Ali and married into the Destau family, she's family too, and her family is wonderful. And they were even there when Ali and Val and Kenji went home a day before we did. When they went back to England, they were there, and we got to say hi to them again. So for me, that was the best part of the party. It really was. So that's how the first week went. And after that, we'll talk about some more things in the next video. But in the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Like the video and subscribe if you think I'm doing a good job here. And I appreciate you watching. Till then, take care and Semper Fi.